Hey, I'm Abby, and welcome to the Life Work Balance YouTube channel. To wrap up 2020, I've got a 3-part series to help you with your 2021 job search New Year resolutions. Today, part 1 is about perfecting your written presence. We're going to touch on things like your master resume, your tailored resume, and your LinkedIn profile. Next week is part 2, and it will be about improving your interview confidence. And then finally, part 3 will be released on the last Sunday of 2020, and it will be about developing your personal brand. If you're excited about this 3-part series, or you think that this series will help you with your job search in 2021, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up down below. And you don't want to miss parts 2 or 3, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life work balance advice delivered directly to you every Sunday. And before we begin, if you're interested in working with me as a career coach, please reach out to me. You can either leave a comment in the comment sections below, you can reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or via my website, which are all linked in the description below. I do a free 15-minute phone consultation, so if that's something you're interested in, let's get in touch. All right, so let's jump into it. Part 1, perfecting your written presence. In part 1 of this series, we're going to touch on specifically resumes and your LinkedIn profile. So first off, your master resume. If you don't have a master resume, this needs to be your first step in the job search process. You need to create one. Now, this is going to be a comprehensive document that will include all of your educational history, your professional paid and unpaid history, any awards or recognition you've received, your skills, maybe an objective statement, and even a biography. Now, you may be wondering, what is a master resume? Well, a master resume is different from a normal resume because it is significantly longer and more comprehensive than a resume that you would submit to a normal job application. You should have a master resume for several reasons. The first is efficiency. When it comes to efficiency, you want a single document that includes all of your professional history. This way, you don't have to spend hours racking your brain, going through that mental filing cabinet, trying to remember what jobs you may have held or what duties you may have participated in specific jobs. The second reason why you would want to create a master resume first is you can easily create tailored resumes from that master resume. It's important to understand that you don't just submit the same generic resume to every job application. It is crucial that you tailor every resume you submit to the specific job you're applying to. Now, this might seem like a lot of work. However, this is why it's so important to create a master resume. When you create a master resume, it simplifies the tailoring process. You already have all of the information in one place, so just delete the information that doesn't apply to this specific job. You can easily narrow down your master resume document into a tailored resume, which will allow you to stand out from the rest of the applicants who are applying to the same position you are. And finally, the third reason why it's important to have a master resume is you will begin to notice themes and patterns that emerge out of your work history, things that you were really good at or that you had a lot of interest in. And once you start to notice those patterns and themes, it will be a lot easier to decide what types of jobs you should apply to, as well as what types of organizations may fit the types of interests, patterns, and themes that you've participated in the past. Now, some of this may sound familiar if you've watched my video on how to create a master resume, but you may not have watched that video yet. So please check it out. I've linked to it in the description below. It goes over the 9 different things to include on your master resume, gives you 5 steps on how you can get started with your master resume, and then I also provide you with 3 tips on how you can convert your master resume into your tailored resume. Now, we're going to go ahead and put a pin in the master resume topic for now, because this will come back into play when we talk about our LinkedIn profile in just a bit. But before we talk about our LinkedIn profile, I want to touch on your tailored resume. So like I said earlier, it's crucial that you create a tailored resume for any and every job application that you apply to. Now, this is overwhelming. It might seem like a lot. However, that master resume will make it significantly easier for you to create a tailored resume for every job application. And you may begin to notice that you are applying to very similar types of jobs. So the tailored resume may be reused during this application process. Now, I wouldn't recommend uploading the exact same document to every application that may be similar. However, I would recommend taking a tailored version and tweaking it slightly so that it fits the new application even better than the generic tailored version you just created. The secret is all about looking at the job application and pulling out the key words and phrases from that application and putting them into your resume. These are the key words and phrases that the job poster, whether it's a recruiter or a hiring manager, will be looking for when it comes to reviewing resumes and applications. It's incredibly important that you spend a decent amount of time combing through that job posting, searching for those key words and phrases that seem to pop out at you. They're likely placed in there strategically by the hiring manager or the recruiter so that they can find the perfect candidate for this job. If you can hone in on those keywords and phrases, your resume will stand out from the crowd. Now again, some of this information may seem familiar, and if so, you probably watched my video on how to create a tailored resume. But if not, please go ahead and check that out. I've linked to it in the description below so that you can easily watch that video on how to create a tailored resume. In that video, I go over the difference between a master resume and a tailored resume. I talk about why you need a tailored resume, even though I briefly touched on it now. And I talk about what you need to include in that tailored resume, as well as the different ways you can organize your headings on your resume. One of the most important things to note about your tailored resume is that it's going to be significantly shorter than your master resume. Your master resume may be 4 to 10 or even more pages long. However, your tailored resume should not exceed 1, maybe 2 pages. It should be short, and it should only include the relevant information that the hiring manager or the recruiter needs to know about you in order to have interest in interviewing you for this position. And finally, the last aspect of part 1 of this video series is that LinkedIn profile. Now, today's video is about perfecting your written presence. So that's both on paper as well as online. So we talked about the on paper part with our resumes, our master resume and our tailored resume. Now let's talk about the online part, your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile is likely going to pop up when your hiring manager or recruiter Googles your name, when they see it, when you submit your application. This is ultimately what you want to happen. You don't want all of your private social media profiles like Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or any of those other public profiles to pop up. You ideally want your LinkedIn profile to come up first. Now, I told you we were going to put a pin in the master resume discussion. This is where it comes up again. Your LinkedIn profile is basically your online master resume. Ideally, what will happen is you submit an application, the hiring manager or recruiter looks at your application and looks at your supplemental materials, like your resume and your cover letter, and they say, this is someone who I'd be interested in interviewing. So then what they do next is they Google your name. This happens all of the time. So don't be surprised if you see someone's name that you don't recognize pop up as someone who has viewed your LinkedIn profile, and it's actually a recruiter or a hiring manager. When they Google your name, you want your LinkedIn profile to be the first thing that pops up for them. When they click on your LinkedIn profile, they'll be able to see a picture of you. They will be able to see your headline and hopefully read the summary that you've written or that you've specifically crafted for your LinkedIn profile. Those are the first things that people notice. So that's your name, your photo, your headline, and your summary. I have a whole video on LinkedIn profile tips. I've linked to it in the description below, but let's review some of them. First, your photo. You want to make sure that this is a clear, high quality photo of your face. Now, this doesn't mean that it has to just be of your face. It could be, of your face with a nice background or something like that, but you want it to be professional. You don't want it to be difficult to recognize you. You also want it to be in a professional setting. So maybe it's a professional headshot, or maybe it's you doing something that relates to your current job or the profession that you're looking to go into. You want to stay away from any pictures that looks like you're partying, like you've been drinking alcohol or using drugs. Your headline Your headline is the first eye-catching phrase that has to do with who you are as a candidate. You want this to describe you. You don't need to get fancy, but you also don't need to be too simple. So if you are currently employed or you have a career trajectory that you're on, include an interesting headline about yourself, about what you do and what you bring to the table, maybe about your passions or your values. Describe your why. Describe what you do, what you bring to the table. Next is your summary. Your summary is incredibly important because this might be the only thing someone reads when they come onto your LinkedIn profile after your headline. This is something that should be written in first person, and this is the one thing that differs from your master resume. Your resume or any resume documents should never be written in first person. They should always be written in third person. However, your LinkedIn profile summary should be written in first person. It should sound like you are reading the summary to whoever's looking at your profile. You want to describe what you do, who you do it for, and why you do it. What makes you different? Think of this as this is what I can do for you type statement. Some people don't have a summary on their LinkedIn profile, and this is a huge mistake. If you don't have one, start crafting one now. If someone reads your summary and then decides to look further into your LinkedIn profile, they'll be seeing your experience in reverse chronological order, so the most recent items first, down to the oldest at the very end, as well as your education, your interests, your skills, your accomplishments, any volunteer experience. So you want to be able to use your master resume to fill in all of this information. The reason why you want to include most of the information that's on your master resume is this really displays the depth and breadth of your experience. Now, it's really up to you with how much you would like to include. On my personal LinkedIn profile, I include information about when I was a cart girl at a golf course, all the way to my current job and industry in career coaching, training, and development. The reason I like to do that is to really show my depth and breadth of experience. I have hands-on experience in customer service, as well as proven experience and success in my coaching, training, and development industry. So by displaying that depth and breadth, it shows how versatile you are and can make you a very attractive candidate to the recruiter or hiring manager who may be viewing your profile. So those are my 3 tips on how you can perfect your written presence when it comes to your job search process. You want to create a master resume, which will allow you to create tailored resumes, and that master resume will allow you to create a robust LinkedIn profile. So that way you can stand out both on paper to hiring managers and recruiters, as well as online. That written presence, both on paper and online, is incredibly important to your job search success. So with that being said, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment with any questions or thoughts that you may have. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life-work balance advice delivered directly to you every Sunday, as well as specifically the next 2 Sundays. You'll receive part 2 and part 3 to this 3-part series on the 2021 Job Search New Year's Resolution. If you found this helpful, but you're still not quite sure where to start and you have an interest in working with me as your career coach, please let me know. Reach out to me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or via my personal website. All of those things are linked in the description below. You can easily get in touch with me and we can get that free 15-minute consultation set up so that we can determine if we are a good fit for each other based on your needs and based on the types of services that I can provide. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.